All right, Dev with Crime Hive and Moscow homicide updates. You're looking at the press release from Moscow police, and I want to give you the most updated information we know. There's been a lot of rumors, and I want to dispel those rumors. And this release just came out on the 25th of November, 2022. Today, as I do this video, it's the 26th of November. So here's what we know for sure in this case. Okay, there were rumors about a 1999 double stabbing in Pullman, Washington, and a 2021 double stabbing with one death in Salem, Oregon. According to detectives, they do not seem to be linked. There does not seem to be evidence that support that those cases are related. So that's one rumor I wanted to dispel. Okay, as I'm going down this press release here, if you happen to be in Moscow, Idaho, and or just in surrounding areas, there is an FBI link that you can also submit tips to. So right here, if you go to the FBI site, you can submit some tips. And again, we're looking at an area that is, so if you got Idaho right here, Moscow, Idaho, where the University of Idaho is located. The address where the crime occurred was at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho. And we're going to go into more details here. But just to give you some context here, you've got Idaho, this is northern Idaho, so it's actually quite close to Washington. So very possible that this suspect or suspects could have migrated over into another state such as Washington. And then also keep in mind, it's only about 3-4 hours into Canada. So there's still a lot of moving pieces with this. But let's continue on with what we know. All right, so going down, Governor Brad Little of Idaho is putting upwards of $1 million in funds for this investigation. There's been quite a few evidence. There's 113 pieces of physical evidence and 260 pieces of digital media submitted. So there's a lot of possible evidence. It's going to take some time for investigators to sort through all of that. There is a candlelight vigil on November 30th, okay, for the 4 victims who, again, we're going to go into the specifics of what happened that we know of and that is not true as we go down this press release here. So again, no suspect has been identified. The possible murder weapon, which police believe is a long fixed-bladed knife, has not been recovered. And there is a lot of speculation that police have been talking about, but they have been doing a good job of getting out into the community to just stop those rumors from spreading. There's obviously a lot of fear still in the community. So if you happen to be around the University of Idaho, people are leaving. People are leaving the campus. There's a lot of fear. There's a gray area with what law enforcement can provide in terms of not hindering their investigation, but the public also wants to know. And so there's some friction there with the community and police, but from all accounts, it seems like they're heavily involved, a lot of resources, FBI's involved, and again, just to cover what actually happened on November 12th, what we know for sure is victims Kaylee and Madison were at a local bar called Corner Club. Okay, they're in that area between 10 p.m. and 1:30 a.m., which leads into November 13th. So if you happen to be in that area, I'm going to show you some maps that police have provided and in areas that they're really looking at and canvassing. So Kaylee and Madison were seen on video from there going to a grub truck. And then they ended up taking a private ride back to their residence. Again, the 1122 King Road residence at about 1:56 a.m. Okay. And then investigators also looked into the 2 other victims. We have Ethan and Xana, who were seen at the Sigma Chai House, and they went home at approximately 1:45 a.m. So you have these different scenes here. You've got the Sigma house, you have the grub truck area, you have the corner club. So you have these different spots that cameras have seen the victims. And then a couple things too. Ethan apparently did not reside at the home. Okay, so the other three did, but Ethan did not, but he happened to stay over that night. So what detectives believe happened was on November 12th, there were 2 surviving roommates, okay? And police have confirmed that they're not involved, to their knowledge. They're cleared from this investigation, the 2 surviving roommates. And they apparently returned home at 1 a.m. on November 13th and fell asleep. They didn't wake up until later that morning when they discovered these victims and called 911. So several people were calling 911, and what we know is that on November 13th, there were 2 victims on the 2nd floor, 2 victims on the 3rd floor. Okay, they were all unconscious, and police did determine that it was a homicide through an autopsy that was conducted. Okay, so if you're looking at this here, I'll try to scroll through this. There was an autopsy. It was confirmed to be a stabbing, and police believe that all victims were asleep and that some of them did have defensive wounds. Okay, some of them didn't, but they were all stabbed multiple times. There was a rumor about the victims being tied up and gagged. That was not true, according to police in this release here, which you may see it. Police are really curious about surveillance taken from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. on November 13th from businesses that happen to be around that area. So there's a list right here, West Taylor Avenue. You can go through this list if you see this on the screen, but I also want to show you this information here. If you happen to be on Facebook and you follow the City of Moscow Police, they provided maps of areas that the victims were around that time of this heinous crime. So you've got some resources you can look at through their Facebook page. Okay, you also have the FBI tip sheet. And again, if you're looking for anything suspicious, anything unusual that you noticed happened around that time on the 12th or the 13th, whether it's in Idaho or maybe even connecting areas such as Washington State, maybe even in Canada if you're watching this, it's still a very open investigation. Again, a suspect has not been located. So let's go back to the press release here. So again, they're looking for that unusual behavior. There was another rumor that possibly Kaylee had a stalker. She very well may have, but they have not been able to verify an actual stalker, an identified stalker. So they are, they did put out some information here that I want to mention, that detectives believe these people are not involved in this crime. So again, a lot of rumors around other people. The 2 surviving roommates, again, not involved according to police. The male that was in the grub truck surveillance video. So you may have seen the video circulating. There was a male that interacted with 2 of the victims, not involved. The private driver that took Kaylee and Madison home, not involved. There was a male that had called Kaylee and Madison multiple times in the morning hours of November 13th. That individual was apparently cleared as well, and the individuals at the residence who called 911 were also cleared. Okay, so again, a lot of rumors, but this is the most factual, updated information I want to give out to you all right now. A few other bits of information. Again, there was a talk of a dog that at the night of the incident was skinned. The dog was unharmed, was not related. Okay, again, a fixed blade knife may be involved, and police are looking at local businesses or areas around the crime to see if a knife has been purchased. Okay, so that's important there. Another unique piece of evidence here, detectives were looking at 3 dumpsters on King Road to locate possible evidence. All right, and they're bringing in all the technology on this, you all. They're bringing in the 3-dimensional scans of the residents, really good, powerful technology. They've got all the forensics involved. Idaho State Police is involved, FBI. A lot of resources being thrown at this case, and we're hoping that there can be some resolution. Again, this crime could have been a possible crime of passion. Police do believe that the victims were targeted, but they still cannot verify that the community is safe. There very well could still be a threat, so definitely be on guard if you're around those areas. And then again, just be safe. All right, go if you're in pairs. You see anything suspicious, definitely contact police. Anything that could be related to what I've mentioned, as small or trivial as it may be, definitely reach out to police. And then that's really all I have for the updates. You guys can certainly get access to this information on their website, and I hope we can figure out who committed this crime, figure out what really happened, and get some sort of justice for the victims in this case. That's all I have for now, and I'll be back in another video, y'all. Take care.